Hey there, friends. Pastor Dave here with another weekly devotion for all the saints. Hope you're doing well this week. I'm going to share a quick reading from Max Lucado's You Can Count on God to get us started thinking about humility. If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. John 13:14. The Apostle Paul urged us to follow Jesus' lead, to give grace, not because our offenders deserve it, but because we've been doused with it ourselves. Forgive one another, even as God in Christ forgave you. Ephesians 4:32. Wearing the towel and holding the basin, Jesus said to his church, "This is how we do it. Let others bicker and fight. We don't. Let others seek revenge. We don't. Let others keep a list of offenses. We don't. We take the towel, we fill the basin, we wash one another's feet." Jesus could do this because he knew who he was, sent from and destined for heaven. Do you know who you are? You are the creation of a good God, made in his image. You are destined to reign in an eternal kingdom. You are only heartbeats away from heaven. Secure in who you are, you can do as Jesus did. Throw aside the robe of rights and expectations and make the most courageous of moves. Wash feet. Saints, you may not be aware, there are some folks who argue that foot washing ought to be another sacrament in the church. On the level of baptism and communion, the argument is that this is a practice Jesus instituted. He demonstrated it among his disciples, and then he told them, you should do the same for each other. That's just exactly the kind of language when he shared the bread and the cup and said, do this in remembrance of me. So they say, well, this is something that Jesus intended for his followers to do sacramentally. I don't know whether it's true or not. I know that a lot of people are glad that we do not take that as a sacrament because they find foot washing a little awkward and a little uncomfortable. I understand that. There's just something real personal about feet, and we don't always like having other people near our feet or getting near other people's feet. But it is something that was a necessary practice in Jesus' day. Of course, with walking being the primary mode of travel and sandals being the primary footwear that people had, and so feet just got dirty and they needed cleaning, they needed tending to and caring for. And of course, what would typically happen when you came into someone's house or when you arrived for a meal is that they would provide water and wash your feet for you. They would care for you as a good host. We don't need to do that in this day and age. It's not a basic necessity, but the metaphor is still a good one for us to learn from. That we can care for one another in a special, in a maybe intimate way that the rest of the world doesn't see as important. When the rest of the world is keeping score and trying to figure out who has more value or worth than whom, figuring out what the hierarchy is and who should serve and who should be served, Jesus steps in and washes his students' feet. The point is that we should not allow any kind of pride or sense of place or honorability or dishonorability come between us and the people we love. We should find ways to care for each other, even if we've been hurt, even if we feel like we are owed something, even if there seems to be a mismatch or a disparity. We should find ways to serve each other, care for each other, not keep trying to keep the score. Saints, if we were to behave more like we see Jesus behaving, how would that change the relationships we have with the people closest to us? That's your devotion for this week. Hope it's helpful, worth thinking about. I hope you're doing well, staying healthy, and I'll be praying for you. Please keep praying for me. I'll see y'all again soon. Take care.